Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time when mediocrity must be evicted from the soul. A time when we stop renting space to excuses and start building a mansion of discipline, vision, and purpose. The 7 habits of highly effective people are not just principles. They are a spiritual architecture for greatness. You don't stumble into effectiveness. You rise into it. You fight for it. You bleed for it. You pray through it. Because being effective is not about being busy. It's about being aligned. Aligned with your values, your vision, and your divine assignment. Let me tell you something. Habit 1 says, be proactive. That means stop waiting for the phone to ring. Stop waiting for someone to validate your worth. Stop waiting for the storm to pass. You are the storm. You are the answer. You are the movement. You don't react. You respond. You don't echo. You initiate. Habit 2 says, begin with the end in mind. That means you don't build your life like a wandering traveler. You build it like an architect with blueprints from heaven. You don't chase trends. You chase legacy. You don't live for applause. You live for impact. These habits are not just steps. They are shifts. Shifts in mindset. Shifts in spirit. Shifts in how you show up in the world. And if you dare to embrace them, you won't just be effective. You'll be transformational. So rise up. Shake off the dust. Step into the habits that shape history, because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who know how to walk with purpose, speak with clarity, and live with conviction. Let effectiveness be your anthem. Let discipline be your rhythm. And let legacy be your echo. Amen. Before you ever pick up a planner, before you ever write a to-do list, before you ever chase another deadline, you must confront the mirror, because effectiveness is not born in motion, it is born in meaning. You can be busy and still be broken. You can be productive and still be lost. The first habit of highly effective people, be proactive, is not a call to hustle harder. It is a call to awaken your identity, to recognize that you are not a thermometer reacting to the temperature of life, but a thermostat setting the climate of your destiny. You must understand that your power does not come from your position. It comes from your posture. The posture of your mind, your spirit, your convictions. Being proactive means you stop waiting for life to hand you a script. You write your own. You stop blaming your past, your parents, your pain, and you start building from the ashes. You become the author, not the audience. You become the initiator, not the imitator. You stop asking, what will they think of me? And start declaring, this is who I am. There is a difference between movement and momentum. Movement is frantic. Momentum is focused. And momentum only comes when your actions are aligned with your identity. That's why so many people burn out. Not because they're weak, but because they're misaligned. They're chasing goals that don't match their soul. They're climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong wall. But when you know who you are, you stop chasing and you start attracting. You stop reacting and you start responding with clarity and conviction. Proactivity is not just about doing, it's about deciding. deciding who you will be in the face of adversity, deciding what values will govern your life, deciding that your circumstances will not define your character. You don't wait for peace. You create it. You don't wait for opportunity. You prepare for it. You don't wait for someone to open the door. You build your own house. Because when you know your identity, you stop knocking on doors that were never meant for you. Let me tell you something. The most dangerous person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who knows who they are. Because when you know who you are, you become unshakable. You become immovable. You become unstoppable. You don't need applause to feel validated. You don't need agreement to feel affirmed. You don't need a crowd to feel called. You walk into rooms with authority, not arrogance. You speak with purpose, not performance. You live with intention, not imitation. Too many people are trying to be effective without being authentic. They copy strategies but ignore soul work. They mimic success but neglect self-awareness. But effectiveness without identity is like a house without a foundation. It looks good until the storm comes. And the storm will come. Life will test your roots. Life will shake your branches. And if you don't know who you are, you'll collapse under the weight of expectation. But if you're rooted in identity, you'll bend. But you won't break. Being proactive means you take ownership of your life. You stop outsourcing your joy. You stop subcontracting your peace. You stop leasing your self-worth to other people's opinions. You reclaim your narrative. You rewrite your story. You say, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. That's not just effectiveness. That's transformation. That's resurrection. That's power. So before you chase another goal, pause. Before you run toward another task, reflect. Ask yourself, who am I becoming? What am I building? What am I carrying that no longer serves me? Because the most effective people don't just manage their time. They master their identity. And when you master your identity, your activity becomes sacred. Your work becomes worship. Your life becomes a legacy in motion. Before you take another step, before you make another move, before you say yes to another opportunity, you must ask yourself, where am I going? Because action without vision is noise. It's motion without meaning. It's energy without direction. And the tragedy of our time is not that people are failing. It's that they're succeeding at things that don't matter. You can climb the ladder of success and still find it leaning against the wrong wall. You can run fast and still be lost. Vision is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's not a dream, it's a demand. You are not created to wander aimlessly through life, reacting to every crisis, every comment, every circumstance. You were created to live with divine intentionality, to move with purpose, to walk with clarity. Vision is the blueprint of your becoming. It's the compass that keeps your soul from drifting. Without it, you will be busy but barren, productive but purposeless, loud but lost. When you begin with the end in mind, you stop living for the moment and start building for eternity. You stop chasing applause and start chasing legacy. You stop asking, what feels good now? and start asking, what will still matter 10 years from now? Vision stretches you beyond comfort. It pulls you out of convenience. It demands that you stop settling for survival and start striving for significance. Because when you see the end clearly, you endure the middle courageously. Let me tell you something. Vision is not just about goals. It's about alignment. It's about making sure your actions match your assignment, that your calendar reflects your calling, that your habits reflect your hope. You don't just wake up and grind. You wake up and build. You don't just hustle. You honor the future you're creating. Because when you begin with the end in mind, you stop reacting to life and start architecting it. Vision gives birth to discipline. When you know where you're going, you stop entertaining distractions. You stop negotiating with procrastination. You stop giving energy to things that don't feed your future. You don't need 100 options. You need one direction. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be effective where it counts. Vision simplifies your life. It clarifies your yes and fortifies your no. But here's the truth. Vision is costly. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you popularity. It will cost you the approval of people who don't understand your assignment. Because when you begin with the end in mind, you start walking roads that others won't. You start making decisions that confuse the crowd. You start saying no to good so you can say yes to great. And that's when you know you're not just living, you're leading. Vision is not just what you see. It's what you refuse to unsee. It's the picture that burns in your spirit, the future that haunts your present, the calling that keeps you up at night. And when you begin with the end in mind, you stop asking for permission to be great. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You rise, you build, you become. So don't just act, align, don't just move, map, don't just work, worship through your work. Because when your actions are rooted in vision, your life becomes a masterpiece in motion. You don't just do things, you become someone. And that, Jason, is the power of beginning with the end in mind. So I say to you tonight, don't just live, lead. Don't just exist, elevate. Don't just survive, strategize. The habits of highly effective people are not just tools, they are truths. They are not just steps, they are standards. And if you dare to embrace them, you won't just change your schedule, you'll change your story. You were not born to be average. You were not called to be common. There is a greatness inside of you that's been waiting for structure, waiting for discipline, waiting for vision. And now is the time, not next year now. Because effectiveness is not a destination, it's a decision. A decision to rise, a decision to align, a decision to walk in wisdom and war with purpose. So walk out of here with your head high, your spirit stirred, and your habits holy. Because when you live with intention, when you move with clarity, when you build with conviction, you don't just make progress, you make history. Now go build something eternal.